Hi there, I'm Amy. If you're new here, I am a mindset coach, a yoga teacher, and a group leadership coach. All in all, I'm super passionate about the potential for growth inside everybody. And today, I really want to talk about a topic that's a little bit intimidating for me to talk about, though it has such huge impact for each and every person who does watch this. And it is knowing your worth, but not just stopping at the level of knowing, at the level of belief, but also acting on that knowledge. So that's what we'll talk about today: how to know your worth and how to stop seeking external validation. And I want to put across to you, what if you knew and truly experienced a deep sense of self-worth that isn't tied to how you look, what you achieve, what you are capable of, or how others perceive you, that comes from within you and is inherently there without attachments? What if you not only knew that, but you also acted on that? How different would your life look? By the end of this video, my hope is that you can start believing and acting from that place. I'd like to start with defining what self-worth really is. I think it's something that we think we know, but we don't always get super clear on. And self-worth is the inherent belief that you are valuable just as you are, without any achievements, without changing anything about yourself. Not falling into the trap of saying, I'll feel worthy when ... Self-worth is knowing that you are worthy as you are right now. It's not something you have to earn, it's something you already have. Now, I'm fully aware that you might be watching this thinking to yourself, okay, well, that sounds great. I would love to believe truly that my worth is inherently there and I am valuable despite anything else outside of me. And it is a lot easier said than done, but I would like you to think back, maybe way back to when you were a child, when you were full of curiosity, when you knew that you were inherently valuable. You were open to new experiences and you felt confident in yourself. Maybe it was when you were very young, but think back to that version of you. Unfortunately, there's that version of you and where you are now. And what happens in between there is life experience. Things happen to us that make us internalize messages that our worth is tied to certain things. And it's likely different for everybody. Some of us might tie our self-worth to how good we look. Some of us might tie our self-worth to our achievements. Some of us might tie our self-worth to how others perceive us. Things happen to us, society shapes our thinking, and people literally tell us certain things that we take in and continue reinforcing even when we get older. So I would love you to think about this and reflect on what messages have you received in your life that you have internalized about your self-worth. I know for me, I have always been a high achiever. So I internalized the message that my self-worth and value is very much tied to how well I do academically and professionally. This isn't an easy exercise and it might bring up a lot of stuff for you. Keep in mind that anything worth achieving or changing is likely going to be difficult. So it doesn't mean that you should turn back now. Once you have identified these messages that you have internalized on your self-worth, I want you to write them down or think about them and think about whether or not you would send those messages to that younger version of yourself. Would you tell the younger version of yourself that you are only worthy if you achieve 90%? Would you tell yourself that you are only valuable if you look good to others? My hope is that once you think about this, you realize the answer is no. And so when you are faced with these internalized messages, I want you to think of that younger version of yourself. Maybe even bring up an image of a younger version of you in your mind and understand that that is still you. Your self-worth is in there. Don't tell yourself these messages that your worth or your value is dependent on other things. The thing is, even if you stop repeating these internalized messages about your worth to yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't reinforce them, because it's likely they've been around for a while, so it's a habit. I want you to be very intentional about the beliefs you would rather have around certain things that you have tied to your worth. So for example, mine was the belief that my worth is tied to my level of success or achievement. I needed to be very intentional that I want a new belief that I am worthy regardless of what I achieve or whether or not I excel. I'm worthy just because I showed up. Now you have this. You have this other path that you can follow and act on. So naturally, the next step is acting on that. I think that a lot of talk around self-worth tends to fall short at this point, where you don't take the extra step of acting on a new belief or of reinforcing a new belief. And I'll share an example. So I might have the new belief that my self-worth is not tied to whether or not I achieve amazing things or excel, but I need to reinforce that. So let me explain it to you in a real world example. Let's say I gave a presentation in front of quite a few key stakeholders for an important project that I'm working on in my job. Let's say that I gave this presentation, but I was a bit nervous, so I fumbled here and there and I made some mistakes. Maybe my manager pulled me aside afterwards and gave me some constructive criticism. Maybe they said, you spoke a little bit fast here, you used some incorrect stats there, and you missed an important key finding that I think the key stakeholders would have appreciated. If I was reinforcing my old belief of my worth being tied to whether or not I excel, then I would not put up my hand ever again to present in front of those key stakeholders, because that experience shook me to the level of my self-worth. The fact that I made mistakes made me feel like I was less worthy as a person. What I would do to act on or reinforce my new belief is put up my hand the next time there is a presentation in front of these key stakeholders, to prove to myself that even if I make mistakes again, I'm still worthy and I can also improve. That mistakes and not excelling every time does not mean that I'm not valuable and the things I'm doing aren't valuable. And another example, if you believe that your value is tied to the number of social connections that you have, it might stop you from having difficult conversations, because you worry if you have a difficult conversation, that person might decide that they don't want to be friends with you anymore, and that means you are less worthy. Reinforcing the new belief, reinforcing your self-worth and giving yourself validation means having that difficult conversation and telling yourself that you are worthy, even if that person doesn't take it well, even if that's no longer a connection that you have. It doesn't change your value as a person. Can you see through these examples that you are totally capable of giving yourself the validation that you're always looking for, and how it reinforces a true deep sense of self-worth that serves you, that doesn't confine you? It's not easy, it's uncomfortable, it's going to push you out of your comfort zone, but what is on the other side of that comfort zone is growth, I think, that you probably can't even picture fully. To sum up, what I've shared today is 2 steps. The first step is knowing your self-worth, looking at internalized messages about your worth that you have on repeat, and understanding that it stops here now. Picture yourself as a younger version of you as a child, and know that you wouldn't say that to that version of you, so don't say it to the you now. Have a new belief, and step 2 is reinforcing that new belief around your self-worth. Actually acting on the belief that you are worthy despite achievements, despite people's opinions, despite all of these outer things that we think makes us valuable. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so that my videos can reach more people like you who might gain some value from what I'm sharing. Thank you so much again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence, and I'll see you next time.